Good evening, Adam.
Good evening, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. Look, we got a lot to talk about, but I got a really important question I've got to ask you before we talk about anything football related. So, if you could only eat one flavour of crisps for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Okay, are we talking just crisps or any type of crisp? Like are we introducing like Monster Munch Flaming Hot, for example, or is it just your potato crisp? You have
It
to
is
clarify.
so it is any variation of a crisp as long as it is in that flavour. So this is a question I ask everybody to gauge what sort of person they are. Not as soon as I meet them, I give them 30 minutes to talk about other things, but then I ask this question because I think it just gives a really good reflection on what sort of person they are. So yeah, I've had that question asked to me before. The person that asked me said, "Oh, if I got a stick to just say Walkers, or can I have ready salted, but I can have plain Pringles as well." So you can have any brand, any variation, as long as the flavour doesn't differ.
Okay. In that case, I do really love Flaming Hot Monster Munch, as I just alluded to. But if we're talking just one flavour of crisp, and there is a reason behind this, it's salt and vinegar and probably Walkers. Reason
See,
being, I love tuna sandwiches and I love salt and vinegar crisps in my tuna sandwich.
right. So
So I'd be
as
lost without
far
it.
as far as I'm concerned, you had the correct answer, and then you ruined it. Because absolutely nobody likes tuna sandwiches, right? Well, no, that's not true. They do,
Tuna
but those people
mayonnaise
are
is
wrong. No,
lush.
it's awful. Tuna's awful. But I
Yeah, but you
actually
don't
agree
like
with you.
sushi or anything. You just don't like
No, I don't. I
cold
don't.
fish.
I just want to tell you. I just want to tell you. I asked this to one lad that I work with. He doesn't listen to this pod. His name's Kieran. If he might listen to this now, you never know. His answer was prawn cocktail.
No, what is wrong with people? They're disgusting. A
I
disgusting flavour.
I can eat prawn cocktail crisps, but I don't know why you would ever choose that as your only
No,
flavour that you can ever eat. For
nada.
me, I'm with you, Adam. It is salt and vinegar, and most people go with salt and vinegar because salt and vinegar discos are the greatest crisps of all time. Anyway, right, that's the important stuff done.
Excellent.
It's the World Cup. It's the
It's
World Cup.
the World Cup.
Are you enjoying it? Now, I do have something I've got to tell you about before we go on to it properly. But
Mhm.
I will say, I'm really getting into this World Cup a lot more than I thought I would.
So I'm enjoying it. I think there are two kind of key things behind this. Number one, no matter where it's being held, and obviously there are issues with America at the moment, and I do think it's quite interesting that people were very vocal about Qatar and very vocal about Russia, quite rightly, but maybe less vocal about America. But football will always have something going for it, and that is the fact it's football. Football is brilliant. It's a kind of sport that I don't think any other sport compares in the sense that you can watch a 0-0 and it can be thrilling. If there was a 0-0 basketball game, it would be the worst game of basketball of all time. Same with like ice hockey, like it doesn't really work. American football, that's a law unto itself. Loads of other sports that I really like, but there's nothing quite like football. You can have a 5-1, for example, with Netherlands and Sweden was actually a really level game. And I didn't think Sweden were bad at all, yet Netherlands won 5-1. And then, I don't know, we're recording this in between two games at the moment, and I've just watched Argentina versus Austria, and Lionel Messi's just broken the amount of goals for the World Cup. Brilliant. So football's great. The other thing I'm enjoying about this World Cup, and this is actually something that's kind of almost uniquely American, or why I think it's good, they have some crazy stadiums, and I'm really enjoying seeing them because I think, and this is a little bit of a long point, but nowadays everything looks the same. Everything is HD, and there's only so far it can go. In the future, like just our eyes can't see pretty much any sharper. So football kind of has merged into one a little bit. Like if you go back to like 4 years ago, the quality of the image looks the same. Whereas I remember USA 94, it looked like it'd been beamed in via satellite. It was unique to USA 94. And we've had that all over the years. But as we've got further along, it's almost looks a bit more homogenous. But the American stadiums, and well, in fact, all of them, you've got the Azteca in Mexico. I'm really enjoying the Toronto Stadium. I think that's unique and very interesting. But then you've got Miami, you've got Dallas, Atlanta. their stadium is great. The stadiums are so cool. I'm really enjoying it. Even the New Jersey one, they're really cool, and I like how they look different. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's
No,
cool. Very long
I
point. That
do.
was like 10 minutes of talking. Well, I'm very
No,
passionate about stadiums.
I do, and there's actually something weirdly nostalgic about it for me, and there's a really strange connection because when USA 94 was on, I was 9 years old. It was the first, I've spoken about it before in the previous iteration of this podcast, but it's a really, really key point in football for me. It's the World Cup that made me fall in love with World Cup football. It's the World Cup that made me love football kits and why the kits of 94 are still probably my favorite of all time when it comes to international football. And it's kind of strange because the cycle's repeated because this year my son is 9 years old and it's the first World Cup that he's really sat down and watched. And tonight he went to bed and he watched Messi break the record in goals watching the Argentina game. And he's going to have that same memory as me. And so there's something weirdly nostalgic about the US, primarily the US, because I know Mexico and Canada are and it's great. The games that have been there actually probably had slightly better atmospheres, I think, actually, as well. However, there is something specifically about the US stadiums, cities that is weirdly nostalgic. I can remember when I was 9 or 10 years old, whatever it was, having one of the McDonald's footballs that had all of the cities that were hosting. And I remember thinking, Boston, I didn't even know there was a Boston in the UK, let alone that there was Boston in the States, and cities like Detroit that meant nothing to me but felt so exotic. And it's like it was so strange. So I think I'm enjoying it for a little bit of the nostalgia that comes with it as well. And you know what? I think there's actually been some good moments. Obviously, we've got the Messi moment. I think that's incredible. I don't really want to get into the Messi Ronaldo debate because I don't think it's even necessary personally. For me, Messi is just the greatest now. That for me, there's no doubt about it. He's incredible, and to be doing what he's still doing, and anyone's going to go, "Oh, the opposition isn't that great." I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, granted, not the highest level he's going to get at this World Cup, but you know what? He's kind of making it look easy still. So let's see
Mhm.
what happens when he comes up against the bigger nations. But there's been a couple of little moments for me that have been absolutely amazing. My favorite one so far, along with millions of other people, is going to be the Cape Verde result that they
Mhm.
got in their first game, and specifically the performance from the goalkeeper and the story that have you kept up with the story with the goalkeeper Vozinha?
You mean his wild Instagram following?
Yes. So what I think is
Incredible.
amazing
It's
about
like over
it,
15 million now, isn't it?
yes, it is. I checked before we started recording. At the time of this recording, it was at 15.5 million followers. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, before that game started, where they got the draw against Spain, he had about 9,000 followers. So in the course of a week, he has hit 15.5 million followers. But it's not just about followers on Instagram. There's a lot of stuff that's come with that has been incredible for that guy. So for anybody that didn't catch it, basically his family were essentially had issues with visas and getting over here, and then he couldn't afford to pay to get them here. What with everything that's happened, he's now been able to fly his family over to the States for them to be there for the remaining games that Cape Verde play. And I just think that's like a really good, heartwarming story that's come out of the World Cup, especially with the political background behind it, and all of the talk of people being denied entry and all of that, and the sad stories about the referee that from I believe it's from Somalia that
Somalia, yeah.
wasn't allowed in, and all that stuff's really sad. So I'm trying to not get too frustrated about that, and I'm trying to look at some of the positives, and that Vozinha story is definitely one of them. And then, they got, at time of recording, they've only played 2 games, and they got another draw again in their second. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite stories so far.
Yeah, that's great. And also, you've got Curacao as well. Really want them to get through just so there's a chance we can see their incredible away shirt. Home shirt's really nice as well, actually. I know we touched on this before that Adidas have done a really good job of making bespoke shirts for smaller nations. I say that loosely. We all know what I mean by that. You've got your Argentinas, for example, will always have their shirts with the, utmost respect paid to them, like Germany as well. And we've seen before that smaller nations who are maybe not traditional football forces get team wear. That's not happened this time. and they got a draw as well. And you could just see, obviously, they lost a game quite heavily to Germany, but I don't know. There's just been some incredible moments, and there was some trepidation with the 48 team thing. But what I think it has enabled is nations who maybe don't have that chance to be on the world stage as often as England or Spain or Argentina or Brazil to have that chance. But also for them, they probably know they're not going to win it. But Cape Verde, for example, they are living their best life. Like that game against Uruguay was great. And also they were brilliant. Like there were points where Uruguay were stronger, but there were points where Cape Verde were absolutely bossing it. And they've shown they're not just here to make up the numbers, but for the people from those nations who've, you know, like Haiti as well. And it's incredible. Like it means so much to them. And they're wonderful stories. So yeah, it's begrudgingly kind of don't mind the larger format, and there's just so many games. I'm exhausted. Have you actually? Side note: have you watched any proper late night ones? Because the most I've made it through is I can't remember which one, but I started one of the games at 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, nope,
You no,
no.
I mean to be fair, you
Look,
get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning anyway,
I
don't you?
do,
So
but because that's what I was going to say. On the flip side of that, I have watched some of the 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. matches.
yeah, which I've not. Nope.
So on the one Sunday morning, I was up at 5 a.m. to unfortunately watch Turkey lose. I was up at 4 a.m. I think again watching one of the
But hang
Turkey
on,
games.
sorry, Turkey, they're the dark horses.
I
They're
know
always dark horses.
this year,
And
I believed it. I
yeah.
legitimately believed it. They've genuinely got a good squad of players. That the Turkish fans are passionate. So if you go and read, they've got some absolutely fiery thoughts on what they think went wrong.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I can imagine.
yes, but look, they haven't performed as they should. I mean, the one thing to bear in mind is I think the actual number. I think is it 52 shots they had without
Oh,
a
yeah.
goal across their first two games. So there is an element of bad luck in there. But ultimately they've not performed, so it is what it is. But no, I think the latest game I watched was the Japan game the other night, which I believe kicked off at 11.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been the 11 o'clock kickoff with Japan when they won 2-0, I believe it was. I'm struggling to remember now, and I'm saying it on the spot. But yeah, that's as late
I
as
was
I
gonna
can
say,
think.
did I watch that one? I can't remember. Do you know what? There's been so many games, like so this is like a slight sidebar as well. The other day, in fact, yesterday, I was on the sofa and my wife was like, "Do you wanna do a quiz? I found a quiz. Just name all 48 teams in the World Cup." And I was like, "That's easy. I'm watching it." And then I was like, "What game did I just watch?" I know I watched who did France play? I just watched it because there's 48 that so I've kind of forgotten who played at what time. Like
Mm.
it's all over the place, but I love it. I do. I
Yeah,
think look, going back to the previous point, like football will always have the fact it's football. It's just no matter what America specifically kind of think about it, and I'm hoping that actually this does bring them into it more. It's the world's game aside from maybe USA, who still favour other sports. But yeah, my gosh, there's just been a lot of it, and I'm
mm.
losing track already.
Yeah, I think that's a big as well. I'm not gonna get into some of the negatives. Not right now. We'll do a World Cup evaluation properly
So
after the
you don't want to
tournament.
talk about hydration breaks then? Sorry,
That's
advert breaks. No hydration, advert.
that was exactly
Yeah,
what I was going to
we'll
say.
talk
I'm
about
not going to
that.
talk about hydration breaks, but look, there's been some really good football matches. There have been a few draws which are a bit meh. Don't get me wrong, but there's some good stuff coming out of it, and
By
that
and
leads me on
large, it's
to.
been. Oh, hello, you can see my cat here. He's just turned up. Hello, Murray.
Oh, I
Can
can
you
only
see?
just see because I'm in that corner on my record, so it's just my face. So
There he is. Hello, mate. He did not like that at all.
I was going to say you weren't
Anyway,
having none of that, mate. I'm sure I can just. Yeah, I can. Is that a cat paw? Just. Oh, it's the tail. It's his tail.
yeah, it's
Just
his tail.
brilliant.
He's
That's
a
got to
little
stay in.
maniac. He's a maniac.
Like you said, by and large, it's been an enjoyable World Cup so far. But I want to ask you an important question before we
Go on
move
then.
on to something I want to talk about. What has been the best kit on the pitch. Not the shirt that you think's the best. I know you love, say, the Curacao kit and so on, which we haven't seen yet, and we may or may not. On the pitch, what's been the best? If you want a bit of time to think, I can tell you where I'm at with
No,
it.
no, 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 no. I have
Okay.
an answer, and I have a very specific answer. So, my two favourite shirts are Curacao away, Japan away. Haven't been on the pitch. Bit like USA '94, like you were saying, this is a great World Cup for kits. But specifically, Germany home, but as worn by Kimmich because he tucked his shirt into his
Oh,
shorts.
yeah.
And honestly, it transported me back in time. And that particular kit, I mean, people watching will see that you are wearing that shirt. The Germany home shirt is an outstanding shirt anyway. But he tucked the shirt into the shorts, and it just took me back to a nostalgic time, a time where we got into football where everyone tucked their shirts. And like Chris Waddle had his shirt untucked, and people were like, whoa, Chris Waddle, what a renegade, his shirt's untucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Germany home, anyone wearing it, but Kimmich especially, just chef's kiss.
Perfect. Look, I don't disagree with that. I am now firmly of the belief that this is the greatest Germany home shirt of all time. For me, I'm trying to put nostalgia aside of how much I loved the 1990 World Cup winning shirt, how much I loved the 94 and the 92, and a lot of those through the 90s into the early 2000s. And I'm trying to just look at it purely from a kit design perspective. For anybody that doesn't know, this shirt merges the World Cup winning two World Cup winning shirts, which
Mm-hmm.
is the 1990, which is where we get this pattern from, with this sort of like diamond meat here, and then the 2014 with the collar and the cuffs to match the shirt they won that World Cup in. And I think the idea of the design is well thought out, and it's really, really good. But not just that, in practice, it's really, really good. Like you say, it looks incredible on the pitch.
Socks as well.
Socks as well.
The
Yes,
socks add
it
to it. I
really
mean, the
does. It
shorts are
really
cool,
does.
but the socks with the it's almost like a chevron design, isn't it? Meets
Yeah,
the 1990 home shirt, and
yeah.
there's a design of that on the socks as well. It's just a really well
It
thought
is.
out
It's
outfit.
so good. Right, but I am going to give an honourable mention to
Mm-hmm.
one, which is the black Mexico trefoil kit.
Yep.
With the black shorts and the dark socks, that kit on the pitch was incredible. It
So
looked
just to jump
so
in
good.
slightly, that matchup, because the Korea shirt,
Yes. Yeah.
that was a brilliant matchup. Again, watching that one, um, my wife was next to me. I think we were watching the highlights actually, because again, it was one of the funny time ones, and she was like, "Is that a lilac shirt? That looks really good. Is that neon green touches to it? That's really good." And I was like, "Well, I actually prefer the Mexico shirt because it's trefoil, blah blah blah." But as a matchup, again, like what a World Cup for kits.
It
I
was
completely agree with you. Like
amazing.
that Mexico shirt is brilliant. It's fantastic. But the
I
two
want
of
to
them
give a
together
shout
on the
out to
pitch.
someone on that one. Yeah,
Go on then.
I want to give a quick shout out. So we follow him. His name on Twitter is Marco Seria, and his
Mm-hmm. Oh,
at
yep.
is at Bellissimo Shirt.
Yes.
He did a tweet at the time basically saying that that was the kit matchup of the tournament, and I think I would
Mm-hmm.
agree with him. It's not the kit I'm going to put forward as my favorite kit on the pitch of the tournament so far,
Oh,
but that was why it was an honorable mention. But as a matchup, that match 100% for me, one of the best matchups since Japan versus Jamaica in '98. Just absolutely
oof.
brilliant.
Oh, can I
But
guess?
yeah, oh, go on then.
Norway?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Look,
I knew it. I just knew
I
it.
was a fan.
Great shirt.
It is. I was a fan of that kit before. Weirdly, there was some detractors on that kit online, that people who just hadn't really got into it and couldn't really see why. But I think they've even been pushed into liking it now. On the pitch as a full kit, it looks incredible. Like you talk about a kit wanting to show a national identity. Good Lord, that one does it. And even that aside, it just looks so good. Even before you get up close and see the detail within the cross on the shirt and so on, it's amazing. I got to admit, I belatedly tried to go and buy the shirt before I found out it was pretty much sold out everywhere.
Mhm.
So if anybody knows of where I could get one of those in a medium, and I would take a stadium or an authentic at this point, please, please, please let me know. Don't want a name set. Don't care about that. I just want the shirt. But that for me is absolutely incredible. And I also want to say that I said this before the tournament as well. I do think Norway are my dark horses for the tournament. I think they could go far in it. And I really want to see them do it as well because I quite like them as a team.
Yeah, likewise. I think very, very strong team. They have some very good players. Obviously, we see them in the Premier League quite a lot. You've got, well, some big standouts, Premier League winning players, Odegaard, Haaland. But yeah, I think it's just, I always like it when teams kind of get their time to have a golden generation. And sometimes it doesn't work out. I feel like, for example, like Belgium, they probably had a team that I know they finished third in one World Cup, but they probably could have made a final. England, kind of similar, to be honest. We absolutely did have a golden generation, and sometimes it kind of shows that it's not all about the individuals because on paper, like that golden generation was insane, but we play kind of better football now when we're really good, which kind of actually brings me onto it. I'm
Definitely.
wearing an England shirt. What did you make of England Croatia?
I thought now I text you when this game was on, and I'm going to repeat the same words that I said to you, that I said to my boss at work when we were chatting about the game. It was an England game and it was not stressful at all. I felt even when Croatia got an equaliser, I always felt like England were going to win the game. And it has
100%.
been many, many years since I felt that way because even under Southgate, when we got to finals and semi-finals, I always felt like we were still kind of the underdog and we
Hmm.
were the ones that were battling to get ahead and to get the winning goal. Whereas this time I felt like we were almost going to score at will. And it reminds me, and please don't get at me going, it's not the same, they're not the same team, but it reminds me of that era when Real Madrid just had this, we'll just score more than you kind
Yeah.
of attitude. And that is what I want to see from England. It was
Hmm.
exciting to watch. It was fun. It was enjoyable. And most of all, not stressful. I didn't get to the end and feel like I'd lost half of my hair. So it was really nice. I enjoyed it.
I'm going to say something perhaps slightly controversial here, and I don't want to sound like I'm dunking on Gareth Southgate. I think he did a good job, and he took us to semi-finals and finals, which hasn't happened for a while. However, I think you can tell the difference between a good manager with a good team and a genuine elite manager. And
Yes,
I think Tuchel is an elite manager. And I'm going to go one stage further. And I think if we had Tuchel before, we win at least one trophy.
I agree. I don't disagree
And I
with that.
don't mean
I
that to
think it's
dunk on Southgate. I think it
no, no,
was
no, no.
necessary what happened. And I think it was almost a back to basics thing.
Yeah,
And I think he did some things very well. Something I do like about Tuchel, I am worried it's going to bite us on the bottom a little bit, but he does often go for form over names. I still maybe would have taken Palmer just because I felt Palmer, he
yeah,
was
hundred
injured
percent.
and he was coming back into things. And I think sometimes you have these special players who can do something special. But that said, I think Southgate would have brought Foden, for example. Foden has had a bad season. There might be reasons behind it. I don't know, but he hasn't excelled. And I actually think, there could have been other people like Morgan Gibbs White, for example. Maybe he could have been taken along. We could do a deep dive, but I don't think Tuchel is afraid of making big decisions. And they paid off because, again, Croatia, they are an aging team. We know that. Like, you're relying on Luka Modric, who's very good, but yeah, he's like 40, 41, I think. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's sterner tests to come. But
definitely.
like you said, one of the big things was even when Croatia scored, there was no point where I didn't think, actually, we are in such control of this game. And it felt like we just, we'd step up a gear, deal with it, then drop back on purpose. It was, yeah, it was a very balanced, good performance. And let's see, because we're recording this before the England Ghana game, but by the time it goes out, it will be afterwards. So if you're listening, you might be going, well, they're idiots because they lost 7-0 to Ghana. Or you might be going, they're right. It's coming home.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not saying the words, but it may well be. Right. I want to move on from the World Cup very, very briefly because I want to do a little bit of a warning section on the pod. We've been buying football shirts for many, many years, haven't we? More years than we care to count because we're old now and we don't like doing that. I got caught out an absolute stinker this week, Adam.
Idiot. What'd you do?
So I, for a long time, have wanted a Palestino football shirt. For anybody that doesn't know, they're a South American club who were set up by Palestinian immigrants. Go read about them. Really, really interesting story. Really, really cool club. I like them a lot. And I have held off on buying one online because there's a lot of fakes around because they're at the moment there's a lot of demand for them for obvious reasons. And I also wanted to buy one directly from a club source because then some of the proceeds of the shirts are actually going to Palestinian Foundation, which is what I wanted it to do. And I decided to buy one from what I believed was an official Palestino outlet. And it arrived last week. And I said to my wife, can you just take it out of the bag for me and hang it up? Because I've got a little peg that I hang all my shirts on because I don't like the creases in them. It gets on my nerves. And she hung it up and she sent a picture to me. Now, Adam, I've WhatsApped that picture to you. Can you, at this point, I want you to have it on the screen before you talk about it. But she sent it to me and within 3 seconds, I knew that it was fake. Could you, do you want to tell everybody why, Adam?
Well, I will share this image so those of you who are watching.
I've got the shirt here with me as well.
But it's the tag. It says sport performance on it, doesn't it?
Yes. Here we go. You ready? There we go. There's the shirt. And at first I was very pleased it was finally arriving. And then yes, the dreaded performance sport tag. Now, for those of you who are listening or watching that don't know what this is, if you're listening, it's the black and sort of like lime green generic tag that you get on all of the shirts from your leading Chinese manufacturers. And it instantly, you know, it's fake. It's that simple. This is a shirt manufactured by Capelli. It should have Capelli swing tags on. Now, the way I got caught with this, by the way, is there was a website that was just literally palestino.eu. And what they'd done is they'd actually mirrored the official South American website. And I'm not going to lie, they've done a very, very convincing job. If you Google it, it tells you that it's an official website. And I got sucked in. Somebody actually shared it on Twitter. So I can't remember who it was, but that person must have got done as well. But yeah, unfortunately it turned up and it was fake. They've done very good because they've set the prices on there to be exactly the same as the sale prices on the official South American club website. But yeah, I got absolutely done over by it. And my favorite part, I don't know if it will show on the camera, but I got to show you this. Look at the badge. Can you see that awful font? All the letters are different sizes on there.
Yeah,
and that's not absolutely right, it's horrific. Now, I'm very, very fortunate, and a little tip for anybody. I bank with Barclays, and they have a bit of a protection thing where you can actually log a complaint if you buy something from a legit website and it turns out to be counterfeit. I logged that, and within 30 minutes of logging it, I had my money back. So don't think that you're absolutely done for and your money's gone if these things happen. If you pay by PayPal, you'll be able to get your money back through PayPal. But obviously PayPal is becoming less and less on certain websites now with Google Pay and Apple Pay and things like that. But if you did, just check with your bank, because like I say, it was legitimately less than 30 minutes of me filing the complaint about that. And my bank just went, absolutely, that is a fake website with a fake football shirt. There's your money. Now, annoyingly, I did have to get it shipped to a friend in Germany and then he shipped it to me. So I did lose out on that money, but that's not the end of the world. I'm happy with the seller just simply not getting away with it. So yeah, little word of warning for everybody. Be careful of dodgy websites, because apparently when you hit your 40s, you get caught out by them.
The thing is, that's never happened to me, but once I was looking at a Macron shirt and I discovered that I was on a mirrored website as well. And I don't know how they did it, but it was all the same. And I can't remember what it was, but it was like macron.co.uk or something, macron.com.
Oh, wait, I remember this.
Yes. Yeah. And it was just the other one, and because I think maybe I could be wrong on this, but Macron is one of those ones where it's actually like macron.com/GB or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And but I just Googled it and it's the first one that came up. And obviously, like someone had just mirrored this website, probably paid money to make it show up. And I was like, but alarm bells were ringing. Something wasn't quite right with it. And like shirts that I knew that weren't available were suddenly available. I was like, hang on, like I know this one wasn't available. They're really sneaky. Like, they're very
Hmm.
sophisticated these days, and it's yeah, it's kinda wild, isn't it, that even seasoned shirt buying professionals I mean, I didn't because 'cause I'm not an idiot, but, you know, but you have fallen by the
Yeah, do you know
wayside,
what
so
really annoys
be
me? I
careful out
even
there.
messaged you and asked you if you wanted one when I was ordering, and you said no, so you got away with that.
I
But
did get
look,
away with that.
all's well that ends well. I've got my money back on it. I know with it, we can give little shout outs and hopefully less people will get stung by it. Look,
Mhm.
it's really, really annoying. My biggest frustration with it is I've wanted one of those shirts for an awful long time. A friend of ours, Granny, Granny's football store, he's got some older Palestino shirts, which are absolutely stunning. Some Adidas ones from the 90s and so on. And
Oh,
to be
I'll I'll
perfectly honest,
I'll see if I can
that
get some images. So those of you watching, I'll see if I can find the ones that it's Granny's football store up at the website. He used to sponsor this podcast, lovely guy, or the
yeah,
old
yeah.
podcast rather. But yeah,
He,
you're right. Some of his old Palestino shirts are just ugh.
They're amazing. And I did find an older one on eBay, but it's currently up at like £500.
Yeah,
And right now I don't want to pay that. So yeah, if anybody out there can help me get hold of an official Palestino shirt, I'd be really, really grateful. Just yeah, give us a shout. But right, Adam, I think we need to finish with a little bit of recommendations again. What have you been up to?
Mike, I've been watching football.
Yeah. Do you know what? I
I've been,
did think that. I have done one other thing. So I am going to give my recommendation. I'm going to say if you need a break from the football, there is something I want to give a quick shout out to. And Adam, guess what? What do you think it is?
I don't know,
It's not
pornography.
horror. It's not horror. It's
Oh,
not horror.
okay. Is it
I was waiting.
pornography?
No, it's not. Not that either. So I'm a huge, huge fan of Korean TV shows and movies. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
they're
yeah.
absolutely brilliant. I've shouted this out again on the previous podcast. A quick mention to some of them. If you like things like Squid Game, there's shows like The 8 Show, which is amazing, Hellbound, All of Us Are Dead, Sweet Home, Parasite the Grey. They're all absolutely brilliant Korean TV shows. And then I've now watched a Japanese TV show, which is one of my favorites. And season 3 has recently dropped, which is why I'm giving it a shout out now because I'm about to watch season 3. And it's called Alice in Borderlands. This is an
Oh, I've heard
incredible.
of this. I've
Oh my
heard of it.
God,
I've not
Adam.
watched it, but I've heard of it.
It's so good. It is so good. Basic premise of it is there's a couple of young Japanese guys who are in Tokyo and something weird happens. They go into a toilet because they're being chased by someone or something. And then when they come out, they're in almost like a parallel city. It is the weirdest, but one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. It's a very, what would you call it? Sort of like futuristic, almost end of the world apocalyptic type thing where they're in this alternative Tokyo and they're having to play games to survive. And it is just absolutely brilliant. If you like Asian TV or you like things like Squid Game, just go and watch it. It is brilliant. That's all I'll say because you've just been watching football.
I have just been watching football. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before. I have been going on a, sorry, cat's just turned up again. Hence my arm waving over here. Yeah, I've been making a concerted effort to read loads of comics. And I think I'm up to 52 comics read this year, like, you know, trade paperbacks. And I'm doing a reread of Preacher. There is a TV show, Preacher, which I only watched a couple of episodes of, which I think I kind of partly liked it, but I love the comic so much. And also, it's one of those ones, often in America, like they limit the amount of F bombs you can have. And in the comic, it's like swear word after swear word. It is the wildest ride you can ever go on. To be honest, Preacher is absolutely wild. Have you ever read any, or do you know about Preacher? It's in the TV show.
I have actually. I watched the first season of the TV show, and weirdly, a bit like you, I don't know why I couldn't quite get into it. It certainly
Hmm.
wasn't bad, and I certainly wouldn't tell people not to watch it. There was just something that didn't quite sit right with me. So I remember watching the first season and then going, "Do you know what? I might come back to it one day," and I never did. Not yet, anyway.
I think for a lot of fans of the comic, it didn't resonate as much as it could have done, which I think is fair. But the comic is absolutely wild. So many incredible characters. My personal favorite is Arseface, and he's called
Okay.
Arseface because he was a Kurt Cobain fan when he was younger, got a little bit depressed, and decided to try and shoot himself. Trigger warning, literally trigger warning. But he was such a mess up. He messed up, and now his face looks like a bumhole. And so he gets christened Arseface. It's, I don't know, it's the kind of story that you kind of have to read it to believe it. But there's so many incredible characters, there's so many wild turns. And I think I've just finished the 5th volume of 9. So I've been doing that in between watching the football. So I know that there might be a few people into comics. If you are, you probably know Preacher anyway. So I'm telling you to suck eggs. It's like being like, oh, have you heard of Watchmen? Like, of course you have. Oh, do you know
do,
Snoopy?
do you know what? I do that sometimes. If I'm thinking of giving like a little recommendation at the end, sometimes I'll go, well, there's no point recommending Breaking Bad,
Or
is there? Because
yeah,
I
have you
mean,
heard of
everybody's
Stranger
seen that.
Things?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, actually, my little boy has actually just started reading some of the Clone Wars comics, the
Well, give it
Star
a
Wars
few
ones,
years
which
before you
is.
get him into Preacher. Like,
Oh
just
no, I definitely will. Yeah, from what you've said, I'll wait a little bit. I'll let him
yeah,
stick to his little Star Wars, Clone Wars ones,
wait
which
till he's
is
30.
good. Yeah. But yeah, all right. Well, look, it's more football soon then, isn't it? Look,
There is more
everybody go follow
football.
us on, yeah, everyone go follow us on the socials and all that. We'll record again soon because I think it's quite nice. I don't know, Adam, was a little bit shorter than usual this week, which I think is quite nice. Little bite-sized pod for between the World Cup games. So yeah, we'll record again soon. And Adam, I have a quiz for you ready for that.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Yeah,
Exciting. I do love a
it's
good
all about
quiz.
it's all about football shirts and the World Cup.
I
So it's
mean, I
very
tend to do
topical.
quite well at these. It's almost like I'm a nerd and I
Yeah.
spend too much time talking about football shirts and thinking about football shirts and just being a bit of a weirdo. So I look forward to that and showing everyone how slightly pathetic I am.
No
My mum
comment.
says I'm
Yeah.
cool. No, she doesn't actually. She doesn't think I'm cool in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, cool. Love that journey for me.
I mean, on that sad note, I think we should
Yeah.
just call it there.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. I'm going to try and bring back the Deli Alleyway just to make it a bit happier. Right. Yeah, that's it. Right. Bye, everybody. Go watch the World Cup and follow us on socials. Bye.